Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Merkwakwadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And shalom, shalom to my Ak and Wakwathem who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawakub coming at you with another lesson. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding. And today's lesson is going to be a bit of a rant, bit of a warning, bit of a lesson, all that stuff, for people that need to hear that you need to trust the Lord, you need to obey Yahawadah, you need to do what the Lord expects of you, do what the Lord wants from you. All right. Now, the inspiration from this lesson comes from personal experience, actually, because there have been instances when I'm at a crossroads, all right, and at that crossroads I have to make these two decisions, and one decision seems more logically sound, but through the spirit and power of Yahawadah, the Lord is communicating to me, and that's it. I just want to point out that it doesn't always have to be verbally. Okay, sometimes through the spirit you feel in your heart, in your spirit, like, okay, you know what, I feel compelled to do this instead of the other thing, right? And there are instances where Jake, okay, there are instances where Jake, sometimes get that, if you lived in a so-called black household, if your mother said, oh, I had a bad dream, then oftentimes or I think Haitian households more specifically, they will say, oh, I had a bad dream, and then they will say, okay, well, now I can't go because, oh, something bad's gonna happen and stuff like that. And it's that superstition that also extends onto this whole horror movie trope where so-called black people always run away at the first sign of danger. Anyway, to come back to my initial point, we are supposed to, when we are at the crossroads and we feel it in our spirit to take a certain thing, okay, we need to, if it is from the Lord, if you believe that it is a righteous thing to do or an okay thing to do, whatever, and it is from the Lord, then rather than thinking that, okay, this is logically the best course of action, logically, I'm going to do this, and logically I'm going to go do that, all right, then you should go and do what the Lord told you, rather than thinking that you know better, or you know this, you know that, whatever. Okay, that things do not work that way. I'm speaking from personal experiences. All right, there have been times when I have I asked the Lord for a sign. I asked the Lord for guidance or whatever. Okay, you know what, I'll tell the story again because it's not the first time. I'll tell the story again. So I was in a parking lot, all right, I was parked in my car, there was a decision that I was supposed to make. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there was a decision I was supposed to make, and I literally was so frustrated because I didn't know if I should go, I didn't know if I should just leave and whatnot. And then I said, Yahawadah, or no, Slaki, and I didn't say Yahawadah. I said, God, please give me a sign. These are the exact words I said. And lo and behold, I opened my eyes, and as if on cue, because I didn't see this before, as if on cue, I looked around. It's not that I was looking for a sign, but I just literally just turned and looked, and I saw a truck that had the word green on it. Okay, I don't remember if I said. I always said, Yahawadah, please. All right, Slaki. I said, God, please give me the green light and whatnot. And then there was a truck with a sign on it that said green. And the funny thing is that truck, it seems so out of place. Like, it, under normal circumstances, it should not have been there. And I saw that. I knew 100% that was absolutely a sign from the Lord which that I was not an Israelite at the time, and then I was like, oh my God, like that's literally the sign, and my dumb ass, my scary ass, just left, even though I had gotten the sign that I oh so desperately wanted. And I'm not gonna lie, I think I am now still suffering as a result of that, but at the same time, maybe it's for the best. I don't know. I do believe that there's no free will, but at the same time, I feel like the main point of that is to make me have so much regret, so that when I get to more serious things, and I'm not saying that wasn't a serious situation that I was in. That was absolutely a serious situation, but even now, when I'm in more serious situations and I'm in even more perilous hardships, okay, that type of fear, that type of regret in me is what is fueling me to be even more so locked in or obedient to YAHAWAH. So like I very often times I'll say most times than not, okay, the accuracy is probably like at minimum 80%. All right, I'm gonna say at minimum 80%, but if anything I would say 90%. But outside of that, yeah, I've been just obeying. I don't understand it. I don't know why you're telling me to do this, but I'm gonna go do it anyway. I'm gonna go do that. And oftentimes, even when it's something like I can't think of an example. Sorry for the rambling, but it's important that I include all this. Sometimes my sentence structure isn't the best, but I pray that you are still able to receive the message. Now the thing is that sometimes it might be something simple that I might say, well, I don't understand. Why would I need to do this? Why do I get the feeling I should do this? Why do I get the feeling I should just wait or just stand here for a minute? And then, like, lo and behold, I'm not lying. I'm being completely 100% honest with you right now when I say that whenever I feel like the Lord is just telling me to just hold on for a second, just stand still, literally something happens, and then it's like, okay, oh wow, I needed to wait for this to happen so then I can act, and then I can get these done. Two birds with one stone and whatnot, or two. Yeah. So yeah, it's like that's actually very like convenient, and as well as just like, I don't know, a spiritual sixth sense that happens at times which is the Lord guiding me, and I pray that the Lord is able to guide you, especially if you feel like you want. As a matter of fact, let's get that as well. You need wisdom. All right, you need knowledge. James 1:5, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. So, this is an example of that, where the Lord is going to freely give you all the information, all the whatever that you need. You don't need to worry about I don't know what to do, this and third. Like, if you are an Israelite, Slakia, when I say you're an Israelite, if you're an Israelite, I don't mean that you have dark skin. That's not what determines if your skin color does not determine if you're an Israelite or not. I feel like I always have to say that, but it's determined by your father's bloodline. If your father's line goes all the way back down to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob specifically, then you are an Israelite. It doesn't matter. And there can be Israelites that look like that so-called white people. There can be Israelites that look like so-called Chinese people, Indians, so on and so forth. Okay, so this lesson is if you happen to be a so-called if you happen to look like a so-called white person, so-called Chinese person, whatever, this lesson is definitely to you, especially if you feel like you've had that kind of, sixth sense and whatnot, and you feel like, even though this doesn't tie into my ethnic appearances, cultures, I'm still going to go and do this and whatnot. But anyway, that's another thing for another time. Continuing on, Matthew chapter 10 verse 19, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. And this is another thing where sometimes you don't even need to think, okay? Because that's a thing, that's an issue that I have personally, where I always premeditate things. I always think about as many possibilities as I can, and even then, when I think about all the potential possibilities, the stuff that I'm actually confronted with, it is something that I did not think about. All right, like there's that's basically the Lord trying to teach me. Okay, which again, you may take these lessons, take these examples I'm giving you, and apply them to yourself. Should they apply to you? But anyway, that's the Lord teaching me that I can't think of anything. I can't think of everything. Okay, I'm not no Kisuke Urahara. I'm not no super villain or superhero that thinks about literally every single possibility possible and then acts accordingly. No, that's literally impossible. So as a result of that, all I have to do is literally, as a matter of fact, let's get that as well. First Peter chapter 5 verse 2, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Okay, cast all your cares, cast all your worries, cast all your doubts to YAHAWAH. He got it. He's gonna take care of you. He's gonna take care of all that stuff. You don't need to worry about I don't have any things, or I don't know what to say to the centurions when they pull me over. They're gonna lie on me. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. All that stuff. Don't worry about that stuff. Okay. And again, like I'm saying this. I'm saying all this to myself as well. Like this is a lesson for me, because even though I know all this, even though I acknowledge all of it, and I've made multiple lessons on this before, this is still something that's like a work in progress, where I'm actively trying my best to, what's the word? Just not necessarily go with the flow, but let YAHAWASHI take over and fix things and adjust things. Okay, oftentimes you worry about so many things happening, thinking that things are gonna go bad, when in actuality, just simply just praying to the Lord is what is the remedy enough to improve things and for the Lord to make things work out in your favor. All right, so that's a very important thing, and you don't try to fix stuff that you don't have power over. Okay, that's another key thing. Okay, you can't control how Esau chooses to deal with you. Maybe he will be friendly. Maybe he's going to be that's just one example, by the way. But maybe the cops are gonna be friendly to you. Maybe the cops are gonna try to find an excuse to kill you. But regardless, you have to adjust, or not. You don't have to adjust. The Lord's gonna put the Spirit on you to do and say the exact same thing that you need to do at the time. But also, you need to be aware of the guidance of YAHAWASHI in the first place. All right. So if the Lord is telling you something and you feel like, I don't like that, I don't think that's a good idea, well, stop thinking then. Literally just stop thinking. All right. That was the name of my last lesson that I talked about this. I said, don't think. Let the Lord do everything for you, or don't think. Let the Lord speak for you. However it was titled. I know it's called don't think. It starts at don't think. Continuing on, 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And this is another part of it. You might want to just do what you want to do, but you got to be able to have some discipline and deny yourself. All right. These are the hard things that we have to be able to do. I know you might want to, smoke some weed, do some this, whatever, be lazy, be self-destructive, eat some pork. I don't know, whatever the thing that you're not supposed to be doing. Okay, myself included, speaking myself first and foremost. All right, and it's a process. As a matter of fact, one thing I do recommend, is fasting. Fasting, which is like, say for example, I'll say gaming. All right, with gaming, if you feel like gaming is taking up too much of your time, it's getting in the way of your studying with YAHAWASHI, take a week off, take a week off, a day, a month, anything of just, for this period of time, be it a day, a week, or a month, whatever you want, you decide. You can pick the time. It doesn't have to be at either of those. It could be more, it could be shorter, okay? But you need to set aside a time or something to stop doing gaming or whatever issue you feel is getting in the way of your relationship with YAHAWAH. All right, so then you can go and better yourself with the Lord. All right, or improve your relationship with YAHAWAH. So you're not, you're showing discipline and fasting. Okay, doing not just a food or water fast, but it could be something as simple as not playing video games. Like that's an actual fast. If it is something that you feel like, okay, well, this is a problem for me. I'm not going to do it. All right, and I've done that before, where I stopped playing games for a whole 24 hours and whatnot because, okay, well, I need to focus on this. Even though I wouldn't say, me personally, I wouldn't say I ever, except for that one time, I wouldn't say I've ever really prioritized, what's the word, the games over the Lord. But I think there was that one time I did. I don't remember if I missed. I think I didn't. I don't remember. Anyway, continuing on. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And this is another big thing where do you really think that you ask the Lord, speaking to myself, speak to myself first and foremost, okay? Like, think you ask the Lord for advice, you ask the Lord for guidance, you ask the Lord to tell you what's the right answer, what to do, and then you go and pick the other thing that he didn't say. You think that he's going to be cool with that. All right. You actually think that he's going to be cool with that. All right. No, hell no. All right. That's why it's very important to not fuck up. If you are asking the Lord for advice and he gives you advice and you don't see the wisdom in it, you don't see the logic, you don't see the whatever, it just seems like a bad choice. Even if it might seem like a bad choice, even if it is a bad choice, you still do it because at the end of the day, you're going to reap the benefits unless the Lord is not dealing with you. All right. But, I'm pretty sure if you even bothered to ask the Lord, then the Lord is most definitely dealing with you, as we read in James chapter 1, verse 5. So you shouldn't be doubting the Lord in the first place. All right. As soon as the Lord tells you, okay, you will go take that route, take this thing, all right, just go and do it. Don't worry about all that stuff. And don't make an enemy out of the Lord. Don't make it a habit to ask the Lord for something and then go against it. All right. 1 John chapter 6 verse 1 John chapter 4 verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Yahweh, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Okay, that's another thing. We need to try the spirits. Because obviously, say for example, well, I'm not going to give an example, but basically you get the point. It's just like, does this seem like this is from YAHAWASHI, or maybe I shouldn't do it, maybe I should do this, I don't know, but just that you should know in general that if there's something that leads you to sin that's obviously not of the Lord, all right, if it's something that leads you to some sort of conflict or something that is contrary to the words of YAHAWASHI, and that's not the Lord, and you know that the Lord is not the one trying to tell you that, okay? And oftentimes they're going to be slocky, and that's the thing. There are going to be demons that are going to be trying to get on you to do certain things, but you have to be able to fight them off. All right. Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. Okay. And that's another thing where we don't understand what goes on in the mind of YAHAWASHI. Okay. Our thoughts and our ways are not the Lord's ways, and while making a certain choice or doing certain thing might seem counterproductive short term, in the long term, YAHAWASHI has a plan ready and waiting for you. All right, just trust Him and do whatever He tells you. All right, do whatever guidance, especially if you've been praying and asking the Lord, YAHAWASHI, I don't know what to do. Please show me a sign. Tell me this, that, and third, whatever. How do I do this? All right. Next, Isaiah chapter 43, verse 13. Yea, before the day was I am He, and there was none that can deliver out of my hand. I will work, and who shall let it? Okay, and this is the thing where it is impossible for us to get out of the judgment of the Lord YAHAWAH. As soon as He sets His sights on you, as soon as He says you disobeyed me, you went against me, you're evil, you're wicked, you're done for. You're on my sights. You're my target now, and you are going to die. All right. You do not want to get on the Lord's bad side. You want to obey Him. All right. You want to obey Him rather than go against Him. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Wakwakwadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, Abadabah, and Shalom.